What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel, the Politically Incorrect Asian Vlog. And before we're gonna jump into the topic that we have for today, I'm gonna be flexing this fancy eyewear that we have, and I got this from, of course, Lazada online shopping, and looks cool, right? It's blinking. All right, but without too much ado, we'll be talking about coronavirus vaccine, whether the ECQ or enhanced community quarantine is going to be extended, because today or a few hours ago, the whole day actually, the Manila mayors, as we all know, Metro Manila is under ECQ. It's been under ECQ for like nearly 20 days already. Yeah, because got started August 6th, and it's gonna end this 20th. But whole day today, there was a meeting, a gathering among Manila mayors or Metro Manila mayors, uh, and they talk about whether to extend ECQ and whether they're gonna be shifting the responsibilities to some agency of the government. And I think they are trying to shift the responsibility to IATF. Alright, as you can see, I have my Google pulled up, and this is the IATF. Let me just show it to you. IATF resolution. That was actually July resolution, June 28th and July, I think. And there was a talk as to whether ECQ will be extended. And we've been under ECQ for a couple of days, or more or less 2 weeks already. And I think the resolution or the agreement that these mayors came up with, and there's been updates online actually. So what we're gonna do is Google. That's the best thing that we can do. ECQ extension Metro Manila. So is it extended? Well, ECQ is basically the highest or the most strictest or the strictest protocol that our government can come up with in order to curb the spread of the virus. And as we can see here, 16 hours ago, 7 hours ago, I'm looking for actually the latest, the most latest. It's actually redundant, most latest, the latest update here, because 16 hours ago, as you can see here, Manila mayors vote on ECQ extension. So they voted actually, and that's actually coming from Inquirer, and that's actually made the dilemma as to how to proceed this. Was it extended? Well, definitely, I think it's extended, but who extended it? But according to Rappler, mayors defer to IATF. So basically, they are delegating to IATF the responsibility on whether to declare extension of ECQ. And according to ABS-CBN News, NCR mayors leave ECQ extension up to task force. But all right, that was 16 hours ago. That's for Inquirer, that Manila mayors vote on ECQ extension. Of all the politicians in the country, the only politician that was or is courageous and brave enough to oppose any further extension of ECQ or any further restriction is Governor or Cebu Governor Gwen Garcia. I've seen her, like I don't know if that's some kind of media airing, or it's a regular programming in Cebu that she talks to her constituents, updating them on what's going on in the city of Cebu. But as we can see here, Manila mayors, Metro Manila mayors, not really Manila only, because Manila is just one city within the metropolis, delegated to IATF on Metro Manila's quarantine status after the 20th. So they are basically, shifting the responsibility to IATF. And IATF, I don't know if it's already decided on whether to extend ECQ. So, according to this is actually from Rappler, Metro Manila mayors were unable to come up with their own recommendation to the national government on the community quarantine status of the national capital region after Friday on August 20th. So, if we're gonna recall, right, after the implementation or re-implementation of ECQ on August 6th, okay, that's when we had this commotion or panic or chaos across Metro Manila, especially in the city of Manila, under Metro Manila Mayor Isko Moreno, who just contracted COVID actually, Antipolo and Las Piñas, right? There was commotion or chaos because these people scrambled to get vaccinated. Why did they do so? Okay, I've got to check. I actually put this in my TikTok account, right? Here's my TikTok account. And there was some kind of blame shifting going on over the past few days on who's going to be blamed for this chaos or commotion that went on in the city of Manila, Antipolo, and Las Piñas, because there was commotion, and of course the social distancing protocol was violated or not followed by these people, and a lot of people also went beyond the curfew mandated in those localities. So this is coming
When your
from
incompetent gangster president's main anti-COVID strategy is fear-mongering, blame, shifting, and threats, expect more shit to happen.
Yung mga bakunado, pwede na kayong magpa-self.
Right, I said when your incompetent president's main tactic in order to boost the number of vaccinated people in the country is fear-mongering, scare tactic, bullying, etc. And here is President Duterte, prior to the re-implementation of ECQ on August 6, scaring people that if these or the people are not vaccinated, they won't be able to go out, lest they be accompanied again or escorted by police authorities or barangay officials back to their homes or houses. That's actually what the president said.
Yung walang bakuna, tumabi muna kayo at plano ko ano-anong gawain ko sa inyo. Ito ngayong ayaw magpabakuna, sinasabi ko sa inyo, huwag kayong lumabas ng bahay. Kasi pag lumabas kayo ng bahay, sabihin ko sa mga pulis, ibalik ka doon sa bahay mo, you'll be escorted back to your house.
That's pretty clear coming from the president of this country, that if you're not vaccinated, you're going to be escorted back to your home. And I don't know why this is not clear to a lot of people. They're trying to blame Isko Moreno for this, but IATF has actually the responsibility. In fact, that's actually what these mayors are doing. They're shifting the responsibility to the IATF or the task force, because if we're gonna analyze what's going on, okay, the president scaring the people. In fact, actually, that's one of the tactics being used by the government in order to force vaccination, because they all know that they cannot force people to be fully vaccinated. I mean, vaccinating 109 million Filipinos, that has to be done by Congress. All right, any mandatory vaccination cannot be done alone via executive order. It must be an act of Congress, right? If they would like to vaccinate all people, and of course, it's impossible to vaccinate all people in this country, because there are individuals that cannot be vaccinated with these COVID vaccines because of health reasons, and it's going to be up to the person involved and his or her doctor, right? Not the government. And the thing is, a lot of people in this country are like trying to scare the people, trying to bully the people who don't want to be vaccinated, that they are anti-vaxxers. So that's going to be another, sub issue that we're going to talk about, because there is a difference between people who are trying to get better options, really, because these vaccines that we have today, especially those coming from the US, are just authorized. They were just authorized for emergency use only. They did not go through what Biden called, or he lied actually, US President creepy Peter Joe Biden lied about the US COVID vaccines, that they underwent gold standard FDA approval process. That was a lie. Okay, all these vaccines that are coming from the US and probably from other countries, these are all experimental vaccines. They did not go through the full gold standard FDA approval process, because usually it would take 5 to 10 years or more than 10 years for a vaccine to be completed. It's going to undergo clinical trials, and apart from that, there's going to be regulation. But the most important thing that any vaccine can undergo through, or can go through, is what we call clinical trials, in order to make sure that that vaccine that will be implemented either by the government or the private sector, or voluntarily by the individuals, is going to be safe for use or consumption, right? So, all right, what I see here is that there is actually a tactic, a series of tactic, or I don't know if we're going to call it scare tactic, in order for the government to boost vaccination, in order to promote vaccination, in order for the people to accept or to take the jab, right? One of these tactics is, of course, ECQ. The ECQ is actually not merely because there was surge prior to August 6th, okay, because of the Delta variant, etc. And we have all these variants, because we all know that every virus mutates. Every virus mutates. It was expected. Something that we expected even before, we had all these lockdowns, etc. Right? All viruses mutate, and this is most expected. So we have this Delta variants, etc., and all the variants that are coming from other countries. We don't even know if the Delta variants are worse, okay, or more dangerous than the usual virus, the original virus, the coronavirus, what we call the SARS-CoV-2, right? That's a virus, and COVID is what we call the disease. We don't even know if these new variants are actually more dangerous than the original virus. But what we all know about these vaccines that we have today is that these are spike-targeted vaccines. That's one tactic. The tactic of the government is to implement ECQ. So the implementation of ECQ, including its extension, is actually not accidental. It's a way for the government to force the people to be vaccinated, because under ECQ, we're gonna live through a lot of restrictions. We cannot go out, we have curfew, etc. So the ECQ was a means to force the people to be vaccinated. So IATF has the ball now. We don't know yet, because IATF did not release any resolution, usually in the form of resolution, as to whether it's gonna extend the ECQ in Manila. Let's see if Philippine Star has the latest news about extension. So Metro Manila mayors leave ECQ extension to IATF. So that's basically what we have right now. We're gonna wait as to whether the IATF is the governing body, okay, of the national government when it comes to COVID restrictions and protocols. So they are the authority, basically.